Hello everyone, welcome back to another Train Sim World 6 video. Today we are back on the Riviera line, Exeter to Plymouth and Paignton, by Dovetail and Rivet Games. And today we are in a rather special unit. This is the GWR Class 43 HST with the MTU engines, with 4 coaches on the back, meaning it is a castle set. These, in real life, these Mark IIIs have actually been modified with sliding doors, and sadly GWR is retiring the castle set this month, which means that the only HST operators left in the UK will be ScotRail and Network Rail, and that's it. So while these units are still in service, I thought I might fire one up on the Riviera, because it's been a bit since I've driven the GWR HST. I've been waiting for the remaster, I think. Ooh, we've got a 66. Don't see those too often. Ooh, looks like he's got some wagons. He's got some of these wagons, which they're the JNAs, right? They're the JNAs off of Southeastern High Speed. They're also included with the East Coastway, but I don't have that. Then we've got a DB Class 66 on the front. We've also got a Cross Country Voyager, GWR 802, and I don't think anything else, but yeah. Today will be... This month really is the last hurrah of the GWR castle sets, and I wanted to give them a good send-off. So, Master Key, neutral, unlock the doors, put the train brake to initial, headlights on. It's been a bit since I've driven the HST on the channel, I'll be honest. All safeties on with just one click. No DR. There is a DRA, but it's not. It doesn't have like. Let's go. Turn the gauge lights on. Unfortunately, because this is not the latest train in the game, it does not have dynamic suspension or guard mode or announcements. Oh, hello, there goes the 66 with the wagons on it, and I think it'll have to wait until we leave. So yeah. So this month, hopefully, we are getting the remaster for Great Western Express, which gives us, among other things, gives us services on the Riviera line with the newly improved HST, and the patch notes for the HST are literally as long as my arm. The improvements that Grump Dog Games are doing to this unit are insane. It'll finally be up to modern standards: dynamic suspension, guard mode, announcements, just to name a few of the features that are coming for this unit. And then on top of that, of course, we'll be getting the GWR HST Farewell Pack, Livery Pack, which also includes a bunch of new liveries for the HST. Let's release the brakes, because we are on a hill coming out of Plymouth, and I should zoom the map out before I forget. Heading all the way up to Exeter today. Oh, you can barely hear the HST above the Voyager. Hang on. There's 66 waiting for us to come out. Right. Next stop, Ivy Bridge at 11 miles. I don't think I've stopped there yet. So, yeah, we are a semi-region, because the castles nowadays are used for semi-regional services instead of express services. We're stopping at Plymouth, Ivy Bridge, Totnes, Newton Abbot, and Exeter St. David's. This service is 2 Uniform 20 Penzance to Cardiff Central, and I also have the Windsarton's live weather mod in use, and I also have the London Midland signal visibility mod as well. The castle sets are actually, ironically, not drivable on Great Western Express, but are only drivable on the Riviera line, because Great Western Express depicts them at the time when they were still operating the main express services in it from Paddington to Reading, but the Castle sets, but Riviera line depicts them in the time when they were being relegated to the sidelines. So right, let's put it notch 5. Ooh, that's pushing it, but yeah, I think we're good. Notch 5. This is actually the HST was actually, this version of the HST, I should say, was actually the first version of was actually one of the first British trains ever introduced to the game, being included with the Great Western Express route, and it released all the way back in 2018, which makes it almost 8 years old. So I'm very glad that that the developers are finally giving it an update, and a very, very large update it is too. So yeah, our route today covers follows the path of the Riviera line, so up the hill, so through the hills of southern England before coming down to Newton Abbot and then following the Dawlish seawall into Exeter. So yeah, the HST is definitely more of a pain to drive than the oh, hello. Got another castle set there, 2 more castle sets, and a Voyager in Layer Depot over there. Yeah. Yeah. As I said, yeah, these castle sets are being retired this month. But ironically, it's not age that's killing them off. It's actually new disability access regulations that mean the HSTs are finally being removed for good. ScotRail's actually modifying their HSTs to comply with the new regulations, but GWR are not going to modify theirs, as it would be too expensive, and they're just replacing them with the Hitachi IETs, so the Class 800, Class 802, which is a major shame because, yeah, these have been a staple of the British Railways network for what, almost half a century at this point, and the fact that they're finally being killed off is sad, but they are living on in other places. I believe they have found a new HSTs have found a new life in other countries. Their ex-GWR HSTs are now serving the Lagos Metro in Nigeria, in Central Africa of all places, and also I believe they are operating in Morocco. But yeah, they are ever so slowly being killed off in the UK. But they are still running. If you go up to Scotland, ScotRail still uses them pretty frequently, and yeah, they will live on heritage railways and in museums. Like one of the units I'm really looking for, one of the liveries that's coming with the GWR HST farewell pack. Oh, we're losing speed at full throttle. How's performance? 60 FPS, pretty solidly. Nice. This is a decent performer on the frame rate. Anyway, where was I? Oh yes. In the National Railway Museum, there's 43002 Sir Kenneth Grange, named after the guy who designed this thing. And there is and 43002 is actually painted in the old Intercity 125 livery from the late 70s and early 80s, I think. and is actually preserved at the National Railway Museum to this day, which is pretty cool. We're losing speed. But it's nice to drive the HST on a route that's the GWR HST anyway, on a route that's a bit more challenging than Great Western Express, because Great Western Express, despite being a decent route for its age, A, is showing its age quite a bit, B, it's like not the most difficult route to drive in the world. Like the maximum gradient is like 0.3%, and that's just not really a challenge at the end of the day. Just drive it from A to B and you're done, with maybe a stop in the middle of the slough. With this route, there is definitely more of a challenge. The gradients are a bit steeper. Those window reflections are really beginning to annoy me. Oh, crumbs. Oh, fun fact about this version of the HST, look at this. You can actually open up the coupler hatch, hang on, and couple on a Buckeye, so the Class 66 can tow it. That's actually the premise of one of the scenarios. Not a lot of soundproofing in this cabin, is there? My word. Let's put her back up to notch 3. Keep on climbing the hills. Yeah, so I am using the real time of year, which is December 11th when I'm recording this. I'm also using as I said, with Zanta's Live Weather mod to try to make sure the realism is top notch. It's actually pretty decent weather for this time of year. Like pretty cloudy, not raining, not too much track slipping. Pretty decent. 3 miles to Ivy Bridge, which, yeah, not stopped at before, because the only other service I've done was on this line was via nice viaduct, was on a express service on the Class 802, and it didn't stop at Ivy Bridge, so I just shot past and didn't stop there. But this is actually, yeah, it's been a while since I've driven the HST, as I've said, and the brakes take literal years to release, so I do fully expect to have a massive skill issue. Easy does it. Not too fast. See if I can get a decent shot over this bridge. I'll take that one just in case I don't get any good ones later, because that actually looks pretty decent. This section of the route is a lot slower because you're limited to 60 miles an hour over this stretch of the line due to the winding nature of the route and the pretty steep grades by British standards. So you do have to be careful about adhering to limits. But once we get past Newton Abbot, the speed limit goes up to 75. Once we get past Dawlish Warren, it goes up to 100. So I am looking forward to taking the HST up to 100. Yeah, coming down the other side of the hill into Newton Abbot is going to be a bit interesting with the brakes the way they are. The HST is a pretty simple train to set up, and yeah, I just wish we had like a HST that's a bit more backdated, because the only HSTs that we have are currently the GWR one from Great West Express, and the East Midland, excuse me, East Midlands trains one from, what is it? Skyhook Games' Midland Main Line, but 0.8 miles to go. I'll try and leave the braking for as long as possible. Across another little viaduct. Nice. Let's let the hill do the braking. Yeah, sadly no announcements, but hopefully that'll get rectified when the remaster comes out. So Ivy Bridge in 800 yards. Yeah. As I was saying about the HST, I really do hope that we can get a modernized version, not modernized, backdated version, because we only have the modern version with like TPWS, GSMR, all that good stuff, but we don't have one with like that's like with a Valenta engine from, yeah, because like a Valenta Intercity Swallow HST for West Cornwall local would actually be much appreciated. Like, Rivet Games, if you're watching this, please do make a Valenta HST. Full service, onto the brakes. Stop, please. Ooh, nailed it. Reverser to neutral, brakes to initial, just to hold us. We're actually here for the next 2 minutes, so might as well go have a tad of a look around. Actually, never been to Ivy Bridge before. Let's see. Don't just stand on the platform like Muppets. Get on the train. Talking to the passengers, of course. Right. Any collectibles? No. Ah, here's the Canon collectible. Just a headphone noise warning. Do like that. Let's gingerly cross the tracks and let's go have a look at the other platform. Just over a minute to do some more exploring. Ah, fell off. Stay behind the yellow line, please. Wish the TSW NPCs did stay behind the yellow line, but they don't because they're Muppets. Are you a Muppet? Yes, you are a Muppet. All of you are Muppets. Well, that's just the... That's just TSW and the NPCs, like... It's very annoying that the NPCs don't stand behind the yellow lines as they're supposed to do in real life. Just get out of the way, I've got a train to catch. Move! Okay, I'm just doing Control 0 and getting back in the cab. My goodness. They're just so bugged and glitchy. Shut the doors. Shut the should slam doors on these Mark IIIs. Give it notch 4. Release the brakes. Next stop, Totnes in 10 miles. Yeah, you have to do a hill start on this section of the line, otherwise you will have issues, to put it mildly. Whoa, easy. I don't have a sander. That's not good. Yeah, I think that's another reason the HSTs are being retired. They don't have sanding equipment, as you're supposed to do. Well, maybe there is a sander. It's just I can't press it with the X key on my keyboard. DRA, LED, test, driver's buzzer. Oh, that's cool. I can do my own buzzing. No, it does not appear we have a sander. That's interesting. Right, back up to 60. So, yeah, Totnes is just on the other... So, yeah, in between here and Totnes is one of the most technically challenging bits of the route that we have today. this is actually the first time the Mark III coaches ever appeared in Train Sim World as well, and they've been recycled, I believe, twice since. The first time on the Midland Main Line because, well, it has an HST, and then the second time it was part of Preston Carlisle to be coupled to the Class 87 and 86 electric locomotives, but the Preston Carlisle ones got a gigantic overhaul to add buffers to them to make them era appropriate, and they got 2 new liveries: British Rail Blue and Grey and British Rail Intercity. Those are my favourite variants of the Mark IIIs in game, because the Mark IIIs that come as Midland Main Line and Great Western Express cannot be coupled to another unit because they don't have buffers, so they can only be coupled to an HST. 7.5 miles to Totnes. Ooh, tunnel. No, it's just an overpass, my bad. Ooh, are we heading downhill? Oh, we are heading downhill. Brakes take an age to release. Yeah, this thing has a lot more rolling resistance than the IET does, because I'm actually, like, on a 0.4% grade, I'd definitely be having to use the brakes on the 802 to try and keep the HST in check, but not here. Also, I don't, on a separate note, I don't think that HST Castleset has any services on the painted branch. I might be wrong. Please do correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, because I would like it to take it on the painted branch just in case. This is actually pretty relaxing. Like, something pretty simple, two-handled. Well, is it a diesel multiple unit? No, it can't be a diesel multiple unit because it's got a locomotive at either end. There's actually a bit of a story with the GWR HST in game, because it was definitely showing its age during the TSW6 era. Like, not as in the age of the unit in real life, but it's in the age of the model in game. Because in the TSW6 era, there was a time when all of the locomotive numbers were 43000 on the inside and on the outside. The wiper wasn't able to wipe rain or snow off the windshield, and yeah, like, why? Like, yeah. Anyway, It was also added to Creators Club as well, which I think was an early hint that we would get the GWE remaster. But yeah, it's definitely this model is very, very old. Under 5 miles to Totnes. So we've seen two 802s, one cross-country Voyager, and a 66 today. Hopefully we'll see a 150 and 166. Because, yeah, the 166 from the Great Western Express remaster does actually layer onto this line. And maybe the Class 165 will too, because it seems through leaks and that maybe we'll get the Class 166 on as part of the Great Western Express remaster. It hasn't been announced yet, but it may layer onto this line once that comes out. This is a pretty slow section of the line. Crumbs. Didn't notice that. And 2.5 miles to Totnes. This is a pretty relaxing drive. One of the things I am looking forward to is that... Oh, hello, flashing single yellow. Is that... yes, the Great Western Express remaster, but there's a route coming from Firefly Simulations, who are a collection of former community modders who made a lot of excellent enhancement packs, and they're actually making a route for TSW now. They've banded together. It's called the Medway Valley Line. It uses a Porsche. It's going to feature 13 miles of upgraded line from Southeastern High Speed, and then what is it, like 26 miles of literally brand new track, and it looks amazing, absolutely amazing. The scenery looks great. The route won't include any new rolling stock, but it will have the Class 375 Stroke 3 and Stroke 6, two new variants with the old AD Trans headlight clusters, and it will also have a working GSMR, like a fully working GSMR radio, which is just insane to think about, that will have a working version of a GSMR radio like that thing, just a bit more modern. And then also have a bunch of layers. It'll have it'll have Class 66 layers, of course. It'll have Thameslink Class 700 layer, Class 465, Class 395. Yeah, It looks to be absolutely excellent, and I think it will be a day one purchase from yours truly. Let's get the notch 2 of brakes on just to get down to 25. Coming up on Totnes. Come on, buddy. Need you to slow down. There we go. Totnes. Pity there are no announcements. That'd be nice to have, but anyway. I think they will be coming with the remaster. Just gotta wait. Arriving into Totnes late. What? Okay, we will have enough time. We'll be here for a minute and a half. Even if we're slightly late, it won't matter. Do have to finagle this brake lever a bit. If you want a good stop. "25 seconds late, no matter." Set the brakes to probably initial, just so we, yeah. We've got just over a minute here until we head off to Newton Abbot. So we've got Newton Abbot and Exeter St. David's. We do have a 25 limit currently, and then we'll have a 60 limit kicking in once we re-enter the main line. I imagine that Class 66 is still tailing us from Plymouth. Hang on. Any sign of him? Bungalow to Exeter Riverside Yard. Yeah, that's him all right. He is definitely tailing us, but yeah. Let's do a departure from the external camera. Alright. 7.5 miles to Newton Abbot. We'll have the Painted Branch join on just before then. So hopefully we should start seeing more traffic. Wonder where that line goes. Oh, it's the South Devon Railway. I forgot that was even... Yeah, that's the South Devon Heritage Railway over there. I forgot that was even modelled. Funny. Alright, come on. Oh, hello. We are getting wheel slip if we engage notch 5 too early, but otherwise we're pretty good. I love how the speedo on the HUD goes up to 200 miles an hour, and the fastest an HST has ever gone is 140 miles an hour, and line running limits you to 125. So like this entire portion of the speedo is just never ever used. That's so funny. I just noticed that. That is hilarious. Yeah. The speedo on the thing only goes up to 140. There is a Class 220. Double 220, no less. That's a pretty decent train to drive. That's probably my favorite train on this line. But that'll probably get surpassed by the HST once that gets the remaster update. Hopefully we should get an increased speed limit soon, but hey ho, maybe we won't. let us go up to 75, please. Performance is still doing pretty well, 40-ish FPS, which is decent for my machine. Not the best, but still decent. The lowest speed limit I've been stuck at all day. 55 miles an hour. This is why I prefer the Paynton to Exeter or vice versa run, because this bit can honestly begin to try your patience. Having to use notch 4 just to try and maintain my speed. And I know we'll have a pretty steep hill down from Newton Abbot, down from here to Newton Abbot and then down to Dawlish. Oh my gosh, that's almost 3%. No wonder Steam, back in the Steam era, they had to use banking engines. It's absurd by British standards. No wonder it took Brunel to make a railway over this. Okay, abrupt lighting change. What? Why? I hate when the game does that, but oh well. Okay, we're at the top. We start going down now. Goodness, this is steep. Speed limit goes up to 60, which will be nice. Two and a half miles to Newton Abbot. Oh, come on. Oh, there we go. Just let the train coast up to that speed. 60 miles an hour, finally. Weather seems to be improving. Nice. How's the frame rate? 40-ish. It's not good. Oh well. There's the painted branch joining in from the right. Nice. One mile to Newton Abbot with 2 minutes to get there, just under 2 minutes. There is, ooh, hello, Class 166 Networker Turbo from also a layer for GWE. You don't see those are a major layer on this line. You don't see them too often. They only do the Exeter to Paynton run as a substitute for the 150, I believe. Ironically, despite the 150 being included with this route by default, we still haven't seen the 150 yet, which is somewhat funny. Let's get the initial brakes on. Notch 2. Newton Abbot. Notch 4 on the brakes. Get to notch 2. Arriving early into Newton Abbot. Nice. Onto the brakes. Nice. So I wonder if this service would actually show up as AI on the Cardiff City Network route with the pacer timetable, because apparently there are HST layers. Right, just over 30 seconds till we hit the till we head to Exeter. So we only have one stop left. Let's leave a bit early. Why not? No point waiting around. Another abrupt lighting change. There's an 802. going into Newton Abbot. Nice. I do like this route. I do regard it as a massive improvement over its TS Classic counterpart, because that only went from Exeter to Paignton and had the HST and Class 143 Pacer both in first Great Western colours, because yeah, the GWR hadn't come into existence yet as a company. But yeah, really I don't know what I'm trying to say, but yeah, I'm really glad that this route was made, because it's a major, another lighting change, another major improvement. 90-mile-an-hour limit coming up, ladies and gents. Can't wait. Right, notch 5, let's punch it. Finally, we get to go up to a more reasonable speed. It's become more overcast now. I do like how the live weather mod does that. Very nice. $82 miles an hour. It is a pretty it's pretty smooth accelerating, the HST, but definitely underpowered at the higher speeds. Oh, we go immediately back down to 60. Ugh. Beginning to follow the coast. Look at us zooming on. Don't really want to maintain the speed when we have to almost immediately go back down to 80. I think it's because we're going through Teignmouth. Alright, let's get the... Okay, AWS just went off for some weird reason, despite the signal being green. Very odd. Oh man. What a beautiful stretch of coast this is. I'll probably do it later when we're nearer to Dawlish. The brakes down so we can get back down to 60. Actually, it's only 13 miles direct to Exeter. However, that is as the crows flies, of course. Yeah, a tad of notch 2 going, just to get down to 60 in time. Yeah, the speed limit on this route does vary quite a bit. Is Teignmouth. Nice little station, this. Floating asset. That sign is floating, and I will never fail to point that out in every single one of my Riviera line videos until that is fixed, because that is just way too obvious. Normally I'm pretty, you know, I don't think too much about bugs, about TSW bugs, but that one just really just annoys me a lot. Alright, 75 limit now. Thank you. Let's have a look, see if this is a good spot to do a screenshot from. Ooh. Actually looks... Let's go look from like Hang on, try and lower it a bit. Ooh, yes. I like that a lot. With the cliffs, the iconic red cliffs in the background. Oh, there we go. Whistle board. Actually, this is one of my favorite British routes in the game now. Just out of personal preference. Probably Great Western Express I'll prefer once the remaster for that comes out, but such a short section of 75. Right. Look at this. Look at this! Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Into the tunnel. Why is the FPS so low? Okay, that was interesting. Probably the diesel exhaust fume effects. That's the town of Dawlish coming up. This is my favourite section of the line. The section from Teignmouth up to Dawlish Warren is my favourite section of the line. There's an 802. Here's Dawlish, my favourite place on the route. Absolutely love this spot. I really do want to come here and train spot in real life. Oh, there's a train spotter down to the left. Did you see that? An NPC acting as a train spotter. Dawlish Station. Just a complimentary horn blast for the train spotters. I so want to come here in real life. Okay, whoa, FPS is not good. Definitely could be better, that's for sure. Oh, we're clear up to 75. Let's punch it. Oh, no, probably not. Don't do it, don't do it. I'll wait until we get to that 80 section. Still paralleling the Dawlish seawall for now. 30 FPS, what is going on? Why is... Huh. Very weird. Very weird indeed. Here's Dawlish Warren. And there's the theme park. Can't imagine there are too many people using that on at this time of day, in this weather. Well, it's pretty chilly. Right, here's Dawlish Warren Station. Clear up to 100 relatively soon. Clear up to 80 right now. Performance has definitely improved. 34 FPS. We do have a 75 limit coming up, which should be interesting. Still paralleling the North Sea coast for now. very nice section of line. Oh, crumbs. That's the 75 limit. Sorry, I do apologize. Eight and a half miles to Exeter. Can't remember what this station here is called. Please do let me know down in the comments. There is a 150, and that ticks off all the boxes. We've seen all the major methods of rolling stock on this route today. Nice. We've seen the 802, we've seen the 220, 166, and 150. Which is, and we've also seen the and we are in an HST, so that automatically ticks it off. There's the 100 limit coming into force pretty soon. Nice. Sadly, we won't get up to our top speed of 125 miles an hour today, but that would only be possible on a major main line like the Paddington to Reading route. But yeah, if you are interested in getting this thing up to 125, I highly recommend you get Great Western Express. You play this on Great Western Express and not Riviera, because nice little yachting club off to the right. That looks really nice. I do really like this route. Ooh, 100 miles in the HST. Nice. That is very nice indeed. It's taken me a while to get that achievement. I probably achieved it years ago because I have had Great Western Express for a very long time now. But yeah, multiple. My Dovetail Live account is not that old. Come on, buddy. 6 miles to Exeter. 88 miles an hour. We're leaving the DeLoreans in the dust. Oh yeah, streaking along at 100. Feels nice to finally be able to do this, get to the triple digits. Four miles to go. Shut the power off. Coming up to Marsh Barton here, which is one of the newest stations on the GWR network in real life. Because yeah, it just opened this year, like April of this year. You can tell because it looks a lot more modern than the other stations on the line. 2 miles to go. 75 limit about to come into force. That's a very nice section where you can go up to 100. Very nice indeed. We do have the usual approach control signal into Exeter, meaning there is a red before we get into Exeter, but it will turn green once we get pretty close to it. No, we're clear all the way into Exeter St. David's. My apologies. Coming up on Exeter St. Thomas, I think it is. Double yellow. 45 morning board. Exeter St. Thomas. Right, 0.7 miles to go, so let's start heading down toward that 45 limit. This is the... If approach control is active, this signal would normally be red, but it's not, so we're cleared all the way in. Nice. Not getting shunted onto any other platforms either, so... Which is very nice. Let's keep the initial brakes coming. Okay. Got a East Midlands Trains 158 off of Midland Main Line, which is a stand-in for the South Western Rail Class 159, which, yeah, no, they don't have the license. Sadly, South Western Rail are quite annoying about licensing, so yeah, it's weird to see the EMT train here, but honestly, I'd rather see it than not see it. I'd rather see that here than not see it. It's a decent stand-in. Look, shush. Better remember to set the DRA, of course. Ooh, 2 minutes early into Exeter. This is what I'm talking about. Full service. Have to set the DRA manually. Let abrupt lighting change. Let's do DRA. Neutral. Throttle is idle. And this service will continue on as AI up to Cardiff Central, off the map. There goes the 158. Wonder where he's going. Oh, he's doing a depot move into Exeter Depot, okay. And there we go. Platinum medal, lovely. Lots and lots of pointage. And yeah, that'll be all for this video, everybody. Thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell. Apologies for the crashing sounds in the background, and I'll see you on the next one. Goodbye.